Good evening, everybody. It's day 4 of our webinar series. And as you all know, today we are very happy to listen to Dr. Pradeep S. Raj. And I will give you a short intro about the key talker for today. So, Dr. Pradeep S. Raj is an accomplished academic and language trainer, currently serving as an assistant professor at Christu Jayanti Deemed to be University, Bangalore. He holds a strong academic foundation in English, having completed his bachelor's degree from St. Jude's College, Tuttur, and both his master's and MPhil in English language and literature from St. Joseph's College, Trichy. Further strengthening his expertise in English language education, he earned his PhD in English language teaching from Bharatiyar University. In addition to this, Dr. Raj has earned professional certifications, including TESOL from the American TESOL Institute and IELTS trainer certification from the British Council. With over 14 years of teaching and training expertise across India and abroad, and 2 years of industry experience, Dr. Raj has developed a reputation for excellence in both academic and professional circles. He has received several prestigious awards, including the Inspirational Young Faculty Award from Amaravati Research Academy, Andhra Pradesh, the Best Faculty Award from the Indian Academic Researchers Association, and the Vidya Ratna Award 2025. He was also conferred an honorary doctorate in the field of education. As an active researcher, he has published numerous articles in national and international journals, contributing to scholarship in English language teaching and related fields. Beyond academia, it is very interesting. Actually, Dr. Raj is a dynamic and multifaceted individual who is passionate about arts, and he's also known as a mimicry artist. That was quite interesting for me. A mimicry artist, actor, poet, integrating creativity and communication in all aspects of his professional and personal life. He is a certified communicative English and soft skill trainer, a member of LTI, lifetime member of RCI. He frequently serves as a resource person for national and international academic forums. So it is with great happiness and privilege that I am inviting Dr. Raj for this wonderful and exciting session. Over to you, sir.
So good evening. Good evening. Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. Just let me share my screen first. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So very good evening to one and all gathered here. I'm so happy for being a part of this academic deliberation. First of all, I have to thank the management of Don Bosco College, then Department of English, and the faculty members and organizing members of this institution. So indeed, it's my great privilege to address in this academic deliberation once again. And I'm so happy to see a number of people sitting for listening to my lecture. And the topic which is given to me is the impact of digital media on reading habits. It is quite interesting because reading is the subject matter of discussion in various forums. So in those days, if you trace out the historical period or in the olden days, we were much concerned about what we read. But nowadays, we are very much concerned about what we read. Sorry, how we read. So it is not about the content, it is about the source of the reading. So that is how this webinar is connecting us towards different platforms. Even I'm trying to do justice towards my topic because the media which you're sitting in those days. So we had seminars. Now we are a part of the digital media, and we have webinars. And okay, so the major important thing is, and so what is the impact that is being created by the digital media over our reading habits? So before we go in detail about the reading habits, so how we are much influenced by the social media or the digital media. So we have different platforms, like we use smartphones, tablets, readers, and other things. I still remember my school days, my college days. I would say that in those days, the accessibility towards the digital media was very less. The only source for the students to gain knowledge is the library. So we sit in the library referring to different books suggested by different authors or different professors, and we just look into it and we gather the information which is required for us. And it takes much time for us to sit and read, but nowadays it is not like that. We try to compress everything within a short, within a small thing, in a tablet or in a laptop or any of these things. We don't have much patience to go to a library and refer to a text. Instead, we look into this. So we look into this and we do a lot of things. The digital platforms are guiding us nowadays. And when we talk about the digital media and the digital platforms, like it is not only with reading. So we have internet, we have emails. So we have WhatsApp, we have Facebook, and we have Instagram, Twitter, and all these things, platforms. So we just, rather than reading the news from the newspaper, it is widespread in those medias. So the reading habit, which we had been practicing for over the years, from which was inherited from our ancestors, that is getting dimmed due to this impact of social and digital medias. And I'm not trying to disprove that the impact of these social medias or these digital medias or trying to degrade our reading habits, or it is just like it is reducing our active engagement towards reading. But it is also the supporting tool. But the fact is, people become easygoing nowadays. Even if you take the case of the students, so and they like the teachers who apply a lot of digital tools in the teaching learning process. And like everything should be the fingertips. So that is the way which we are looking for the things. The traditional teachers are not much entertained by the modern generation students, and they wanted the teacher to use the multimedia applications and other things. Like those days, we read a huge text and we gather information. Now we just select the specific information. We search in Google and other platforms to gain information. So this is the generation, or this is the time period which we live in. So like people don't have the patience to go to library and read the text, and they don't have the library to sit in front. They don't have the patience to sit in the library, and they just take the mobile phones, downloading the things from that. But so there are certain pros and cons. Like and these tools, the digital media, like has fundamentally transformed, like how we read and consume information. Because there is a huge transformation that occurred in our reading habits. There is a question mark whether do we have a effective reading habit nowadays? Because the teaching profession is challenging without the digital media. That is another thing. But my question is whether the digital media, whether this the traditional reading is getting improved or it is still in the in unstable process. Like so. It is it like it's the shift is a classic double-edged sword. Like we have pros and cons. We talk about the advantages, and I don't want to say that disadvantages. Rather than saying a word disadvantage, we say challenges. So the modern approaches are challenging the traditional reading habits, and those who justify the traditional reading habits are the best things, and there are a lot of cons in that as well. And the important thing, like how much important reading is. Reading is, as said by Francis Bacon, reading maketh a full man, conference a ready man, and writing an exact man. So the picture which I have displayed here. So look at the picture of father and daughter. They are together reading, and they are so happy with what they are reading. And if we go towards the traditional approaches of storytelling in those days, there must be some elders in the family or among the friend circle would be reading a story, and they will be surrounded by small kids listening to that reading. Over the years, this practice is inherited to those students or those children, and they also develop the habit of reading the text. So here, so in that matter, because we know there are a lot of benefits of reading, the more we read, we'll be able to write more. So it brings a lot of confidence for a reader. And like it will help us to write in a better way. But the problem is there is a question mark for writing. And the root cause of the worst writing, because we don't find a lot of good writers nowadays. And we have like we are into this media, digital media, and we are using digital platforms to reduce the burden of writing the things, because like we the traditional reading text are not much entertained by the modern generation people. And there are some of the important things I would like to tell through this social media. Like there are a lot of things. The two pictures which shows it is, one is the impact of the digital media. Another one is the impact, the old traditional approaches, which is not focusing much on the digital medias. And there are some cons which we gain through the social media. What happened? Many times when we are very much involved ourselves with this digital tools, what happened here is we are getting isolated. Like a lot of things. Like see, look into this social media. What are the things? Decreased the productivity. We don't want to have an elaborate reading. So what happened? There is something that is like attractive. That is we are behind those things. We read by the use of Facebook, WhatsApp, and other things, and the stress level of us is getting increased, and we are lacking sleep. And my dear people, the fact is, you know, every time we need the digital tools, the devices, even when we are going to bed, we wanted our mobile phones to be next to us. When we get a WhatsApp message, we open it and read. It must be a forwarded message, it must be a quotation or whatever it is. And then other thing is, so the social media is taking us towards false connection, then unrealistic expectation. You must have seen some of the content that comes in YouTube. The introduction must be something else. It will create a curiosity for us to go deep into it. When you open that particular YouTube video, and the content and the title might not be having any connection. And many a times, these digital medias can mislead us as well. And it creates a lack of privacy. Everyone will be there at home, but no human interaction, because we all will be occupied with some devices. you know and even the point which I am sharing now is may not be connected with reading, but the human approaches which we have, the humanistic approaches which we have, is totally is a question mark. How it is taking us towards the next generation, how it is leading us towards a better future. Because in those days, when a guest comes to our when a guest comes to a family of our home, the entire family members, they will go there and they will just open the door and welcome them, and they had a lot of interactions. But now it is totally different. They sit in a different corners, they have their own devices, and there was no storytelling culture. There was no elders reading literary text, sharing that the five interesting part of that text. But here, the difficulty level is, that is, we do not know what they read and what they express through that reading, because nobody has time to have a human interaction. Because I'm not trying to say that the digital media is uh, is a curse for the current generation. It has serves us in many ways. And now I'm talking about and the impact that it creates over the traditional reading part. And let us look into some of the positive impact of the digital media. So, like, it has an increased accessibility, convenience. It provides convenience and portability, and interactive and multimedia integration, and social reading and communities. And there are a lot of useful things. There are a lot of useful things, positive impacts. And let us move on to the negative part. So we will also, increase accessibility. Like, everyone can access towards any book, because there are some, if you wanted to read some books from different libraries all over the globe, we cannot travel to different places. So here, we're sitting in one place, and we can use the digital devices, and we can access towards it. And it provides a convenience and portability. Like, it is very easy for us, portable for us to use, and we can read. And this digital tools that is quite interactive, and which has a multimedia integration. Nowadays, even the book is not read in the book form; it is read in the audio form. And social reading and communities, we get to know more about the communities through these devices or through this digital tools. We read a lot. Nowadays we are not reading much about. We are not reading newspapers much, rather than we are totally dwelled ourselves into this social medias. So let us move on to the negative impacts. So some of the negative impacts of the digital tools, that is, fragmented attention and skimming. We and reduce comprehension and retention. We are searching for specific information without searching from the original text. We wanted something, we just put it in the Google search, and we get the information. We never research the fact where it comes from, where we gain this information. We are least bothered about it. And many times, many of the quotations of the great writers were misinterpreted. And another negative thing is like shallow processing. And an important thing is furthermore, another thing is decline in patience for long form content. If it is the content is a very large content, we don't have the patience to sit and read. Even everything is in our fingertips. So the previous one, we were talking about the positive side of it. This is the negative side of it. So everything what we do, even the traditional approach, has its negative forms, and even it has its positive side. And another important thing is hybrid adaptation, and future trends. So many readers, adapt a hybrid approach. So using the digital media for convenience and accessibility, but they prefer the print media for immersive reading. The pleasure that even that reading the original text, the printed form, will not be we won't be getting from those digital platforms. And even small children, they try. I mean, they try reading initial stages when they get a basic knowledge. And and publishers often release works in both formats. They have online soft copies and hard copies, because they are not we are not full-fledged into the hybrid adaptation. So I mean, we are totally into hybrid adaptation. We are not full-fledged into this offline platforms into. And another thing is the audiobooks. you know the recent trend towards the reading is, even many of us, even teachers, we face these kind of things, because and you know audiobooks are more convenient tools for us to read a novel or something, because even we have different series of novels in audiobooks. And it is a growing trend of digital consumption. And it will save the timing, because we can do multitasking. I mean, like when we drive or when we travel, we can listen to it. But the question is whether it will be stored in the long time memory. That point of time, it will be quite comfortable for us to listen and digest those things, and it can help us to add on some special information. But it is not, but in the meanwhile, we may not be able to get into the actual feel of reading. We get the information, we enjoy that the things which is there in that audiobooks. And while not identical to visual reading, and these kind of tools, these promote engagement with literature and informational content. We get information and some of the basic things from literature. In education institutions, schools and universities, they are integrating these digital tools, and they have added those digital tools in curricula. Even they promote the digital literacy for the students. We teachers, nowadays it is a challenge for the teachers. We need to have a digital literacy, and we should have to we can do more use. We should be familiar with a digital platform and the traditional approach. So the hybridity of education is also one of the factors which both the categories we teachers have to adapt. That is, we need to show our traditional approach, and we also have to switch over from traditional to modern approach, and from modern to tradition. It keeps on moving like this. Like even students, even we teachers teach in the class with the traditional text, or if we promote the students to read the text, what happens here is we our students may not be focusing much on reading the original text. We educators or teachers, we try to provide the information, and even we teachers are adapting these kind of things. Like we navigate online information, and we are also just for our convenience, we are just using these digital tools. But in the meanwhile, we insist our students to read the text. Still, even the classrooms which we teach as the multimedia adaptation or something, But we insist our students, like say for example, many of the institutions we do that. We never allow the students use the mobile phones in the classroom. They might say that we are just opening the PDF form of the textbooks. We don't entertain much because we have, even there are advantages of those devices, but we look into the negative side of it. So we insist them to bring the traditional textbooks, and we also uh, look for them to use that. But we know very well, even we do adapt, you know, the online platforms or the digital tools. So we know very well that our students are using that. Like even if we talk about the condition of research, and it is comfortable for many of the research scholars, the hybrid adaptation is something very essential. So if there is any necessity, they will visit that particular library. If everything is provided online, they will look into that platform. That is some of the major thing that comes into this hybrid adaptation. And well, if we think of what the future will be, because the future is unpredictable, because uh, in the past, if we talk about 15 years ago, the digital tools or the digital platforms were very limited, and we had different uh, devices for different applications. But now everything we have within a single device. So here, the future is a question mark whether the traditional reading habits will be vanished, or like if I tell another thing, the important thing is the AI tools, the integration of AI tools over our education. So what happens? People whatever they want, and like there was a reason children even look for how to get good friends. They search in ChatGPT. So rather than interacting directly with their friends and understanding them, so they sit in front of the digital devices and do that. And rather than interacting uh, with their friends and the relatives, what they do is they are always in front of the digital tools, and they wanted to gather information through the tools. And one end, it is gaining, it is adding more information. They're able to get more information through the tools. But on the other end, physically they are becoming weak because of the usage of a lot of tools. And like when we look into the mobile phones, because many people, they don't even bother about what is happening around them. They don't even switch on the lights, and they will be sitting in the dark rooms and they will be looking at the devices. That the radiations from the mobile phones, it will be affecting them, and it will affect their memory as well. So the question is the integration of now we are having hybrid platforms and other things, but in the future, whether it will be totally online, because when the COVID times, when lockdown came, there was a huge question about the futuristic education systems, the future of education, because it was like it was a huge loss because many centers, many buildings were vacated by people, and to start an institute or to start up, start a training center, they can sit in a room in their home and they can just have the Zoom links or other things. So they were very much into this digital platforms during the time, and there were a lot of questions coming in our mind, and it created a competition, it created a fear in the minds of the teachers to adapt towards this system. So the thing is, those days, if you compare the traditional education system, children will admire the teacher who brings a lot of books in their hands. Now, children will admire the teachers who comes with a laptop. So that kind of technological integration that happened in our with the help of the digital platform. So here, at the point of time, now we are just balancing these two things, that is offline and online. But the future is still unpredictable. Because whatever we considered as like a fantasy fiction in the past times, written by those famous writers, and those the fantasies are becoming real in the current generation. So whatever the current generation writers are writing about the future, which is not which cannot be predictable, we are not sure whether such things might or might not happen in the future. So here there are certain factors that are affecting the reading habits. It is very difficult to single out a primary factor leading to the establishment of one's attitude towards reading. But and our environment, particularly the home, probably provides the greatest influence. So here, then like we teachers, they influence students. They have the potential for influencing the students, as you know, and their attitudes towards reading. So the environment at school, college, home, and society, that is also another factor that is affecting. Because the most important thing is distractions. So here, the current generation readers do not have an intention to read, but accidentally they are reading with the help of the digital tools. So, and the reading is not a planned one that is happening, because in the traditional periods, what happens? Reading used to be a planned activity. They planned to read the particular genre of text, so they started doing that reading, and later on, they gradually confined towards the things, and they started understanding those things. So apparently what happens here is, so the question, a lot of questions arises, the purpose, because we put a lot of questions when we read what I'm going to read. So what are the informations which I'm going to gather, and what will be the impact after reading? But so in the digital platform, nothing of that. So it is an unplanned one. Gradually, we are overwhelmed into this reading accidentally through the digital tools, and even we use the audio text, or I mean, we use audio text or audio visual aids, or we look into the videos, that is the movie version of those things, and these kind of things, like and these are all some of the factors that is affecting reading. Like even in classrooms, none of the students would be able to, in a position to listen to the teachers when they use a traditional text and read. They will find another alternative. They will find whether this particular lesson has a movie version, and this particular lesson has a movie version. And like you know and in when they are looking into this the convenient methods, what happened? The traditional reading methods and habits are getting affected. And so the impact of the internet on reading habits. So we have Google, we have ChatGPT, and we have other devices. And like these devices and internet has created, computers and the internet, they are transforming the way people read. So here, as I put a question in the initial stage of my presentation, that is, so what is the purpose? Like what kind of reading is happening? So here we are not questioning what is the content. Here we are questioning how we read. And when I happen to interact with my students, they said that, when I asked the question, how do you read? And why don't you sit and read? Very few students were telling that they used to read the traditional textbook and read. And rest of them, they say that, so we search the content from Google and we get to know what exactly is there. But the real essence of reading with curiosity, turning page after pages, and getting involved into this reading and getting some special pleasure towards that reading is not it is not there in the internet reading. And the reading comprehension. So, and the reading comprehension is also not much developed through the modern devices. So, what is the biggest difference between reading something on the internet and reading a book? So, when you read a book, you're very much focused and in the flow and probably relaxed. But here, what happens here in internet reading? We are not having the patience to patience for reading. We don't have the time to spend much. But within a limited time, within the short span of time, we wanted to accomplish the task of reading. So when we are rushing and running towards certain process, what happens here is the true pleasure or that we get out of reading will not be there, and we do not know what we gained and whether we have acquired this lexical knowledge, whether the lexical items have been stored in our memory. That becomes a question mark. And like whereas when you are reading something on the internet, you tend to skim the text. That's what I was telling just before, rather than read it. And we are constantly distracted by the so-called hyperlinks, so which take away from the page. We, as per our research of the formats, like a review of literatures. While they are in the process of reading the online text, sometimes the hyperlinks will make us to click into it, and sometimes there are possibilities for deviations from the actual reading. And the actual flow of the reading will be affected through these kind of things. And and finally, what happened when we are deviated from this hyperlinks? We never go back to the original article. Then we are gradually getting deviated from one link to the another link. So we started with one thing and we will get deviated towards another thing. And finally, we make a forceful conclusion for our task. And the conclusion is not a justified conclusion, it is a forceful conclusion that we have. And so most of the people tend to read in this fashion on the net. They try to read through the internet. And this is one of the consequences of the internet. It has redefined our generation's reading habit. And I'm not of the opinion that it is wrong, but the actual reading habit which you are supposed to gain or you're supposed to develop is getting affected due to the influence of internet. So, like even teachers, we look for easygoing processes. So we also don't want to spend due to our workload, we don't want to spend much time reading the entire text. We also look for the keywords from the different internet sources, and we try to explain them, and we'll try to complete the task within a short span of time. But who is getting affected because of that? Because we are destroying the future generation. And the part there was the futuristic fictions talk about once upon a time there was a textbook, it was touched, it was read, and it was taking us to different perspectives of life. But what is this, are we taking the generation towards this? So here, and everything becomes the mirror of the past. Whatever things we have enjoyed in the past, that becomes a mirror now. Say for example, nowadays, when those days when a professor of literature teaches a poetry, the way he describes it, we will have a visual. We have a visuals. Even they don't show any PP PowerPoint, or they don't show it through any multimedia devices. So we get a picture to our imagination. We imagine that we travel along with the poetic lines. We are connecting ourselves with the writer and his feelings, and we connect those feelings to our personal emotions and feelings. But is it happening today? That is not. So here, these devices, we require this, but these devices are becoming the building block of our development, especially in connection towards our reading habits. So, and the question is how to come out of this situation. We are in a balancing end. We need to balance both the traditional reading habits as well as the modern, the future and the current approach and futuristic, the computerized reading habits. How to develop a daily reading habit? There are some of the tips. The first thing is, and we have to fix, keep reading 30 days straight. We fix it. And keep your reading resource around bedside to read before sleeping. When you look at a book multiple times, we feel like looking at the content of it. It will create a stimulation for us to read. And then take reading material in a bag to places wherever you go and read them in free time. The question is, the matter is, we have to read. It is not carrying the reading material or the textbooks in our bags wherever we go. But once in a while, we should get the stimulation to read those things. And we need to keep ourselves familiar of the positives of reading and see them taking place within ourselves. We always should have a positive idea and positive impact towards our reading. And so we should make it familiar to us. Reading should be a familiar habit. It is not an alienated one. And we have to find a quiet place to sit, pace, and read apart from chaos and hustle bustle. Find the genre for reading that inspires and captivates you. Either it could be a drama, or it could be a mystery, or it could be the academic, or anything you can immerse yourself into. One of the important thing that is getting affected nowadays, one great person is getting cornered nowadays, William Shakespeare. And in those days, reading Romeo and Juliet, reading Julius Caesar, that was quite interesting. It was, we become the character, we become one with the characters, and we used to travel with the characters in the time period. But nowadays, because of the lack of, textual reading, so we are losing that connections. So, and the deviations, the technical deviations which we have is taking us towards different dimensions of life and different ideas. It is taking us towards different ideas, and the ideas which is taking us towards the future, and which never let us to come back to the past and uh, extract the best things from the past. And find the genre type, because nowadays if you ask the question, what is the genre type that you like the most, people may not have an answer for that. And so only through the textual reading, only through the traditional reading habit, we will get to know which is our interesting genre type, what we love the most, whether we like fantasies, whether we like realistic fictions, or whatever it is. So like science fiction, and we get to know about it. It creates the reading habit of the traditional, I mean, textbooks will create a curiosity and interest, and it will enrich the knowledge of us. Hello, excuse me. Can you please mute your device? Open பண்ணுங்க. Excuse me. Hello. Okay. Am I audible now? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, in between there was a little bit deviation. Okay, it's fine. So here, what happens here is it improves our knowledge over the words, the terms, and other things. So the traditional, only through the traditional reading habit, so we gain a lot of things. And like we've identified what is our area of interest, what is our the identity things, other things, which category we belong to. The literature text of the tradition and the modern ages, if it is written with the proper the traditional textbook, so we get to feel that you can touch it. When we touch the pages of the textbook, what happens here? We are touching the time period of the writer. We are touching the feeling and emotion of the writer. So overall, what I just wanted to say, so the daily reading habit will enrich our vocabulary, and it will make us, unconsciously, it will add so many things into our mind. And the next thing, this is a picture which describes the two generational reading. One is the digital reading, the left one is the digital reading, and the right one is the traditional textual reading. So what is the difference between these two things? So here, and like in the traditional system, we store n number of information because we can, uh, you know, visually witness the words in the text. And here, if we are reading the whole text, it is well and good. But when you look into the the level that is the statistics of it, it is very less number of original texts were read by the readers of the digital era, and those who are very much adaptable towards the digital reading. But in the meanwhile, those who read the traditional text, what happens here? They gain a lot of information. So they add with, and their lexical knowledge will be, strengthened, and the confidence level will be more. So what we need to do? What is the role of our the today? I mean, the people, the teachers or learners of language. So we should insist more on reading. And reading should be a practice daily, day to day, day to like a day to day activity like brushing and eating a food, because it is a food for our knowledge. It is an intellectual food. Then, and what we need to do is we need to help our children so to understand the importance of reading. So how the reading takes place, because the KG sections and the kindergarten children, so the first things which they come across is pictorial reading. They look into the picture and identifying different objects. And in the early stages, elders or parents or brothers or sisters, what we need to do is we have to create a culture, or we have to create an environment for our young generation to read something. Because many cases in families, what happened here is some parents, they force the children to read rather than motivating them to read. So when they force their children to read, what happens if they started hating the traditional reading things? And by the end, they will end up with the digital devices. So here, and if you see the statistics of two different generations, so look into this. How do we spend our screen time? Like I categorized two age groups. The ages 13 to 24. So you look into this, you know, the reading ebooks. So reading ebooks, that is how many percentage? That is more than more percentages. Then another thing is look into this uh, online videos. They spend, more time. Then gaming also they spend a lot of time, 32 percentage, because we have children playing Roblox and so many other games. And movies, it's 14 percentage. And television, that is the current generation children, that is at the age group of 13 to 24, they're 17 percentage. When you look into this, the other end, and they this current generation children, that is the age group of 13 to 24, they also don't spend much time for reading, and they are focusing much on the other devices. They wanted to grasp or extract information from different ways rather than reading ebooks and gain information. So, and if you look into this age groups 35 plus, so here, they spend 43 percentage of their time in watching televisions, then 17 percentage in reading ebooks. And another thing is like movies 6 percentage, then others 10 percentage. And another thing, look at this, and others, like others 4 percentage. And another thing is gaming is 10 percentage comparing to the age group of 13 to 24. And what happens here is by the end, and we, that is 35 plus age groups, they spend only 9 percentage of time in social media. But it is the statistics of last year, but it is not the current one. And the current statistics of it is undergone a lot of changes. Even people are, the age group of 35 plus, they also started as a using a lot of, games and other things like the age group 13 to 24. And let us, how participants are spent time reading online. So what kind of active participations or active participants, how much they spend for reading, in reading online. So look into this again. All these categories are coming: blogs, Facebook, and website articles. And if you very less percentage for website articles, 7 percentage. Online writing communities, we say that we are grasping a lot of information from different sources, but the reality is, so the reading is very less. We gain information, that is, and the detailed reading is very less. Rather than that, we just extract things from different sources. And by the end, so what I wanted to make is, we require technology. Technology is not to be avoided, or not to be segregated, or not to be separated. It is a part and parcel of our life, but it doesn't mean that we should have to totally ignore the traditional reading habits. And the traditional reading habits are the things that provides us the knowledge, and it should be supported with the internet sources or the digital tools or the digital platforms. So what I would like to say is, the impact of digital media on reading habits is very much profound, and it is multifaceted. So it is not merely a story of decline, but it is a matter of transformation. So we have, the hybridization. We have to use both online and offline platforms. That another thing is there, and moreover, so we need to use the support of the digital medias for our regular and structured reading habits. And this, our digital media has expanded the scope of reading by making it more accessible, convenient, and social. However, and it also changed the nature of reading, so encouraging fragmented, distracted consumption, and that can undermine deep focus and comprehension. So we all wanted, what we require is, we all wanted answers for questions. We don't want to spend much time for finding, extracting information, and getting the answers. So that part is to be avoided, and we have to utilize both digital and traditional platforms for the to develop the better reading skills. and so that the reading comprehension will be developed, the lexical knowledge will be added, and it will be storing more into our memory. And we should not totally rely upon the digital platforms. We should have to use it, and we have to uh, take, I mean, ebooks and other things for reading those things. So there are a lot of points to be shared. So due to time constraint, I'm limiting my direction and my presentation. And with this, I conclude my speech. Thank you so much, and thank you for providing this opportunity in this academic deliberation to discuss about the importance of digitalization in reading. And I appreciate the efforts of Don Bosco College for bringing such a beautiful, thought-provoking titles for this webinars. And I thank the participants, those who are actively involved in listening and were ready to ask questions. So thank you so much once again. So with this, officially, I conclude my presentation. I'm ready for your questions. Ma'am? Hello, ma'am? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Ma'am? Yes, ma'am. Any questions? I'm waiting for the questions, ma'am.
Sir, I think I will ask you one question.
Yes, ma'am, please.
Uh, what do you think will be the future of these public libraries? I personally am a person who has been collecting books for the
Okay.
past, say, more than 25 years. And now also it is a norm that I buy at least 2 or 3 books a month.
Yeah.
Maybe from some Twitter suggestions, or like I got all these Oprah book clubs and all
Yeah.
these things up I'm following. So I make sure that I buy at least 2 or 3 books a month, since it's really cheap in the Amazon market
Yeah.
and all.
Yeah.
So what do you? And personally, I have never seen my adult children not touching a book, not flipping a page. Yes, they take my books just for the Instagrammable photos. Okay, so what do you think is going to the future of these book collectors or these libraries, or a person like me? What am I supposed to do with these books?
Because
These not soft.
yeah,
Yeah.
because it is actually in the hands of the teachers. Like we need to motivate the students to you know to use the traditional libraries and other things. Because like the major problem is it is not their problem. It is their attitude. Multitasking attitude is making them not involved in the traditional readings. And like we cannot even there is a question mark for the libraries, you know. But even personally speaking, even I am also a person who collects books from different libraries. I'm not totally into the digitalized mode actually. So we teachers have to do something in this matter. We should have to, we can create a readers club, making them to read on the spot with a physical textbook. And we have to involve in the academic setup, because we do not know what they do at homes. So in the academic setups, as the teachers of English language and literature, what we can do is we have to give more tasks. We should avoid the traditional lecturing. We have to give the task to them, and we have to make them read the text in our presence and present what they understood from that. Like sometimes it must be something good, and sometimes it may not be good. So moreover, as book lovers of the present the traditional library, so we have to promote the students also to do that. And if we just train the future generation, then the futuristic mm, the question mark will not be there. Because like as we're telling that, the writers have mentioned that in after millions of years later, so they would say that once upon a time there was a library, there was books we touch, and we see the pages of the pictures, and we read line by line. So that kind of situation should not be created. It is in our hands. So whatever we gain, whatever we enjoy, we should share that to our students or to the next generation, so that the existing library will be existing even in the future, along with the digital platforms.
Yeah, certainly, sir. And I feel it's such a loss for this generation to not enjoy the smell of a good book.
That's true.
I
That's
feel
true.
so bad for people who never understand when I try to communicate how good a book smells. So,
Yeah.
like that's it. Like I understood.
Okay.
I think the others can ask questions.
Yeah.
So, is there any new method or new technique to in create reading habits in the younger ones?
You mean in an academic setup?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The best thing is giving comprehension, because the only nowadays we the students are competing only for international proficiency examination like IELTS and other things. So for that process, they involve in all these activities. So why can't these kind of the international proficiency for skills? I mean LSRW, and why can't it be implemented in our current classrooms? So not based on the syllabus of those international examination, why can't we apply the same style into our current traditional textbooks? Say, for example, reading, especially we have to focus more on reading. So, and skimming and scanning, they are very much into it. And mind mapping, we can we can ask them to do mind mapping. We can ask the students to refer to the pages and store some of the unfamiliar words in their mind. If we conduct these kind of activities, and automatically students will be very much into it. That is the way which in an academic setup teachers can do. But the problem is, the practical problem is, we are very much busy in completing the portions and syllabus and other these kind of things are there. But within the short span of time, if we can apply any of these methods, that will be well and good.
Okay, sir. Then one more question. What about the influence of series? And what is the after effect of series and in connection with the books and all?
That is that is a pertinent question, because now even we adults also have an impact of those series. Am I right?
Not that much, but because we don't
Yeah,
have
no,
that
no.
much time like
Yeah,
that.
we don't have time, but gradually this is moving towards it. And because can you just imagine a day without a mobile phone? If you take away the mobile phone from our children, will they be happy?
No, not at all.
And we can we cannot monitor them, so each and everything, and we cannot force it. So what
They
we
are
can do
so
is,
much disturbed.
yeah, along with the digital platforms, they have to follow the traditional setups as well. We should also orient them about it. Even it is very common in academic and familial setup. So
Okay.
But I feel, sir, like what you
yes,
say,
ma'am.
since I have been teaching in colleges for the past 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
I think, like what you said, that the introduction of the 4-year degree course here in Kerala, and we are following that
yeah,
curriculum.
and as per the
Uh,
NEP.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
So, what I have noticed is that in most of these textbooks,
mm,
there are QR scanning codes.
yeah. Okay.
Instead of these elaborate texts, they are giving these QR codes so that the students are supposed to scan it and watch the video or like read something or something like that. So e- even the curriculum is introducing such device oriented things into this academic or this educational arena. So how are we supposed to renew this reading thing? I think it's like a Herculean task. That's what I felt.
That's true. That's true. Absolutely, you're right. Because like even we are nowadays they are talking about skill enhanced modules in the curriculum. Am I right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, skill enhanced curriculum. But what they fail to understand is already those things are pre-programmed in the traditional textbooks. We are gaining all those things, but in fact, the system is making children lazy to read a text.
Exactly.
But
Exactly.
since we are not influential people to change the system, we are a part of that system. So we have to follow it. And what we teachers can do is we have to promote the reading task, having some different forums of reading.
Yeah.
So, and like it is very difficult for us also to understand the reading ability of our students. Am I right?
Reading and writing also, it's like
Yeah.
equally bad.
No, because unless and until they read, they don't write.
Yeah, sure. Exactly. That's what, like we say, they
Yeah,
can't even
and
draft a letter.
yeah. Moreover, we are sticking towards the traditional system of teaching, because if it is a 10 pages essay, what we do is we summarize it, we explain them for their convenience.
Yeah.
But what
Like
happens? Okay, they also are
more or
habituated. Yeah, they also habituated
more
with this. Yes, ma'am. Tell me, ma'am.
more or like we are like spoon feeding them. We are giving them
That's
the
true.
notes.
That's
We are
true.
like summarizing everything.
Yeah, we have to come out of the box actually.
Yeah,
But
most of them they are not buying the textbooks.
yeah, we we have to come out of the box and do something. But the question is whether time permits.
Yeah, that also have to be kept in mind.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
So
true. When someone has written as writing is looked upon as if it is a punishment. That's true. Like there is a boring thing.
mm.
They don't mind killing the teachers if you are giving a task for writing. You know, examination writing is a lazy thing for us. Like I even when I had an interaction with uh, some of my students, they were asking, sir, after a few years, will they stop this writing task and all?
Mm.
Just imagine.
So
And I was wondering, and they were not knowing the purpose of writing. And have you ever noticed the handwriting of the children of this current generation?
yeah, totally. What do you call? I don't know how to describe it. It's like
Yeah.
they can't even properly write their names.
So the thing is, the more we read, the more words we gain. The more words we gain, we'll be able to write more. But
Mm.
these things are not happening.
It's scary scenario actually.
It is actually, to be very frank, it is a threat for the teachers.
Exactly.
Because
Right.
we were asking a question whether the libraries will be there in the future. The question is whether the teachers will be there in the future.
Yeah, we have to think about it seriously. So
Because
I think
Sir,
I'll
even
allow
the
others to
yeah,
ask
writing
questions.
of a letter, even if you have to write small letter, it is a very difficult task for the children. Even if it's in a writing part, they are not able to communicate through writing, how to express their feelings and how to
ma'am,
tell them what they know. So that kind of problem is also being faced because of the less reading habits that the children have developed nowadays.
that is true. Like everything is digitalized due to the digital era. I'll ask you a general question. When we were students, those days they had a culture of writing love letters, writing love poems, and all. But now, do you find any of them like that? They don't have the habit of everything is okay. Copy paste,
Yeah, anything you
shared
ask for and
information,
everything is presented by ChatGPT and
emojis. Yeah,
Gemini and all that. Everything is like it's on the plate. So you just need to copy paste. That's what is happening. So the brain is also doing the same thing. So it's not actually working, or you're not logically thinking, or you're not able to express because your lack of words that you need to have in your vocabulary.
but
So that
like
is another
yeah,
big problem that is being faced.
and the Western countries, they adapt the open book test. And but our Indian systems have not much formulated with those kind of open book. So automatically, like they will refer and they find the answers, and and it is a forceful reading, but moreover, it will help the students to gain something. But our system is not promoting those kind of open book systems. So that is also there. And if you talk about the system, there are a lot of pros and cons. So, and moreover, what happened? we teachers, we are forced to find fault with the students because they are the victims of the system. Do you agree with me? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
yes.
truly agree with
And
you.
there's another thing like if it's a textbook matter that you have to read and write and all, then the children have a little difficulty. They are disinterested. But then if you go for a Marvel comic or you go for some other Marvel movies or some superheroes, then definitely word by word they have a full idea, even with the dialogue how to express it. So that
Yeah,
is a kind of mental makeup the children are developing gradually.
ma'am. Another
Only the
important,
areas they are interested in, they would like to proceed with.
nowadays gradually the era of Shakespeare is getting vanished. Have you ever observed in our curriculum? Yeah, Shakespearean works and other things were
Yes,
gradually
yes.
getting ignored because
Yeah,
those days,
still like
Uh,
ICC or IGCSE, some schools only follow.
yeah, even see whatever they schools students have studied about Shakespeare, and that is not we are not learning that much because those days we had Tempest, Romeo and Juliet, Julius Caesar, Othello, and all these things. Now the familiarization of Shakespearean works is getting vanished, and that has influenced us to learn. It developed our communication. The dramatic language that is used, the stylistic language that is used by William Shakespeare and all. You know, those days the literature teacher was graded by his knowledge of Shakespearean works. And now, what is the condition of us? Yeah.
Now everything is available as a video. So whatever question also, if you want to know, you just need to click and the answers and everything are right in front of you. So you
That's
need not even think what can it be or how,
you,
because during our time, definitely one question was put. There was a very high level discussion that will be there, expressing your ideas, your views, your emotions, everything about that. But that kind of activity is not happening now because the children are always focused on whatever is available through the net. So
you
they are
know,
more interested in
and
knowing that, and they are more focused towards that only.
and
So
moreover,
their thinking
yeah,
capacity, that is also they're lacking.
and moreover, children are asking for a summary of the text. Not they don't want the original line by line explanation of the text. Have you ever noticed in your among your students?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Actually, they are not interested
Yeah, it's all
in
shortcut
listening
method.
us. They just need everything like a spoon feeder, and they don't want any detailed explanation of a poem or anything else. They just need what is the essence of it.
Because the system has created that children are doing for examination point of view, not personal gain or something. That is what is there. Yeah, am I clear? Yeah,
Students really don't have idea about what books are there and what were the books in olden times or how it is different now, or what are the books which are actually readable for the children of their age and all. Nothing like that is there. Anytime anything you get, you read. That kind of thing is coming. And if it is of interest, they'll continue. Otherwise, they'll just drop it in between. That is how things are now. It has should have illustration. It should have colorful, what you say, glossy covers, and then whatever matter inside is written. That should also be of their age or of their interest. That language, then only they will like to go for it. That's what.
yeah.
Not thinking about how it can be applicable or how it is good for our vocabulary or enhancing our what you say, whether it can connect to our daily life. EQ and IQ and all, they are not interested in that. That is how it is. How they're speaking, that is what they want to read, they want to hear, they want to see. That is how it is, the scenario now.
Yeah. So this is
And there is a student from my class, and
yes,
I'm
ma'am.
taking classes for him, but he refused to take even a single note from me. He didn't jot down any notes, and he hates writing actually, but he is speaking well. Language is a super standard
Uh,
he has. but
That,
he's not at
ma'am,
all ready to write even a single word.
that is what, ma'am, I was about to say. That is the integration of the digital tools. They influence them to have a good command over the language in speaking. But like,
Yes, sir.
but if we identify such students and make them to read the traditional text, automatically it'll be a very good asset for us. It'll be a very good asset for us, actually. But the problem is,
Actually,
oh, ma'am, I will tell you,
yes,
last 5 years, I'm observing something. And students, those who are very good, they must be master of ceremonies, they can do comparing and everything. If you look into their writing part, they make a lot of spelling mistakes.
I
And
agree, sir. I
Exactly,
agree.
sir.
Because handwriting is poor. We aren't able to read the
yeah,
handwriting of them, but the language is spoken is super, but written is zero. And he failed in my subject too. Everyone is wondering how he failed in my subject in English because his spoken is too good. But I just later only I found that he is a lazy person. He is not at all even writing anything. So he's not writing anything in my classroom. How what he should have written in the exam hall. So he accept, madam, I don't like to write. He accept his fault.
that is a great thing. That is a special thing about our current generation students. Like they accept everything openly, but
Yes, sir.
they don't want to put any effort.
Yes, sir.
Sometimes they
Without
are stiff
attending
necked,
anything,
sir.
they are expecting a result. That
Yeah.
is the issue which we are facing nowadays. Exactly what ma'am is telling, and your wordings are actually aligned with everybody, I believe.
Yeah.
And they are flexible, sometimes they are stiff necked, their ideology is completely different. We can't even influence their mind in some aspects. We couldn't do any influence on their what they have set, what they have fixed. They are in that.
Actually, the case is like, those days, whatever the teacher says, students would believe. But the current generation students, whatever the teacher says, it is not for the in their mind. It is not mandatory for them to believe what we say is right, because what the Google says is right for them. Even you try to motivate them, they'll be motivated by the Google and other things.
Exactly, sir. I had a bad exposure about what you said now. I was handling a grammar portion in my class, and one of the my student was started complaining about my teaching in the class. When I'm teaching things in the class, similarly he started verifying things with ChatGPT, and he was asking me like anything. And I was to the core defending my point, but he's not ready to accept it. He is completely poisoning, intoxicating the other people that I'm teaching in a wrong methodology and in a wrong way. Uh, we do not know actually nowadays where we people are standing. Is quite pathetic. Our
You
condition is
know,
pathetic, really.
as simplest way I would say, uh, natural human intelligence created artificial intelligence to destroy human intelligence.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, actually, the students nowadays, they
If
are very
going
judgmental
on
about
like this, I think we
who
will
is
lose all the creativity.
taking their class, how they are taking the class, and all that.
Can you come again, ma'am? A little bit. Hello, Prasida, ma'am.
Yeah, actually, I was saying that students nowadays, they are very judgmental about who is taking their class, how they're taking their class, and all. And they are ready to put such questions also, wherein they always want to try
Ma'am,
and show that they are at the higher level or they are at the right side. So what the teachers have to be, they have to be two times ahead about what, or they have to
yeah,
actually think what is the next thing that he or she can ask you. So we have to be always more
ma'am.
prepared in the class and all.
There are lot in those days. Like the teacher who used to scold a lot. We love them a lot. But nowadays, capital punishments are not allowed, and moreover, they don't like teachers advising them. That is one case. and they don't like teachers motivating them by talking about the future possibilities of, especially of their career advancements and all. They want to be want teachers to be like the digital tools. That is their expectation. Whenever they ask some information, we have to provide. They are not ready for listening to our information.
If it goes on like this,
Even
our
the
situation
libraries
would be.
nowadays, when the students go, they don't use it.
Yes, ma'am. Your voice was breaking.
The library also, when the students go, they are not they are not much interested in going and looking for the books, or
Ma'am,
maybe borrowing some books to go
ma'am,
home and read and all.
I
It's
will, I
just
will,
that whatever that timetable says, they do that.
I will tell you something. We all, every institution has a library hour. What is the, like a monitoring part which we do to monitor the students whether they are utilizing the library in a proper way? We just have it in a timetable, and they go to the library and they do something else and they will come back. But we also, okay, not focus, because effective utilization of the library is essential for molding the students. That is very important, but we don't have much time for that also.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
Any other questions?
The students are actually smart enough to grab lot of things, but then the thing is that if they are going higher on one side, they are lacking the other side. So that
Okay.
balancing is what the students are not able to do nowadays.
So, we have to be the trendsetters. That is the greatest challenge for the teachers now. To be precise, that's the only thing.
And
We
it's
have,
not only in school as students, even as parents, we face the same problem.
yeah, because we have to come out of our ego, because there should not be superior, inferior thoughts, because the traditional thought process should be vanished from our end. Then only something can be done. If we are really looking for a transformation of the current generation, we have to do something.
We just want to
Yes,
restructure
very
ourselves.
true.
Then only we can move with this generation.
That's true. We have to redefine ourselves rather than restructuring.
Redefine with the modern generation.
Yeah.
Anyway, through this discussion sessions, we are ready to know that we are all facing the same issue in the college and also in the school, and in every level we are facing the same issues. This is a helpful for us also.
So since we all are discussing on the same ground, may I ask you help from your, from your side that cannot be said as a help. It is a sort of advice we can get from you.
Yeah,
Since
ma'am.
you are down to earth to explain things exactly what we all are feeling now. And I am taking a privilege to ask you one question. To the current generation, what advice would you give us to handle?
Ma'am, so we need to handle them. First, we have to understand their expectation. That
Okay.
is important. Because these children, we teachers, we believe that we go to the class, we have to finish the portion. It is mandatorily for them to listen to the class. But we have to understand what they expect. That is what we have to do. But many things we cannot compromise.
Yes, sir.
Practically not possible. But there are few things we have to compromise. There is no other go.
Mm.
Because we should be called as new generation teachers.
Gen Z kids. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways, thank you, sir.
Sir,
Okay.
even
Thank you so much.
if I talk about the smaller class children also, like maybe KG or primary and all, there also, if we actually show them the storybooks and all, they might just flip through. But then the same thing, if it is shown as a digital, is shown on the digital platform, they're more keen and interested on going and looking at it, rather than just flipping the pages and going through the books. That is how the generation is coming up nowadays.
That is true. That is true. Now, actually, our enemies are not our students nowadays. AI is our greatest enemy because we are competing with the human teachers. So competing with the machine teachers.
Robots.
Yeah. So in between, our students are caught. They are totally
It is
confused.
actually a boon, but at the same time, a biggest threat also.
Yeah, they are totally confused. Whom should they follow? Whether the AI or HI?
That's their biggest confusion. So this is a very crucial time for teachers because we just want to take an action. Otherwise, our battle will move to the other side. So we just want to take an action.
Very soon they'll drop a message to the, I mean, drop a message in the suggestion box for demanding AI teachers.
That is already it started, right? Like many
Not in our side, sir, but
Yeah,
I'm telling you, not in our side. Very soon it's going to happen, I believe.
yeah. Because many countries they are replacing human with artificial tools. I mean, but it is a great, especially it is the greatest challenge for the teachers. We have to be like AI. Whatever they want, we have to give. We should be like
If they
that.
ask question, we have to answer.
In some
Otherwise, we
countries,
should not open our mouth.
Yeah,
even the classrooms are monitored.
we have to let them to ask questions rather than we asking questions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In some countries and all, the classrooms are also monitored by the AI only. Like whatever lectures and classes have to be taken, it is being taken by them. There are cameras and there are videos which is doing all the work. So the teacher's presence is very less.
Ma'am,
Human can be there only if there is a technical error.
the
But
only solution,
otherwise,
the
most of the
only
things are
yeah,
taken care by AI.
the only solution is task-based teaching. But what happens here is when you are asking the students to read a literary text, we are rather than we explaining them, if you ask them to read the text and explain what you understood from that, what generally they come to a conclusion, the teacher doesn't know anything to teach. So he's putting the burden on the students. This is a misunderstanding and miscommunication that happens. But the reality is it is a task-based language teaching procedure. So whatever methods and methodologies which you apply, we have to explain them what exactly it is. And the same students will search the same methods, whether there is such method in AI, whether they are getting through that Google sources. Because everything they are reconfirming from AI, whatever we say, this is a condition. So we also have to be like that. We have to be wise enough to deal with such students for our survival. That is the greatest thing.
Tramas, can we wind up?
Yes, sir,
Yeah.
very true.
Any other questions?
I think any more? Are there any more questions?
I hope.
No, no, no.
Okay.
So I hope I was able to give answers for your questions. And it was
Sure,
it.
sir.
Sure, sir.
Hope it was convincing.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir,
Exactly.
yes, sir.
Today was actually an awesome day
More
for
of
us.
interaction.
Okay. Thank you.
Today's topic was also like that. We had a lot of concerns and things that we needed to discuss with you. So I think you have very well been able to answer that and convince us that definitely reading is something which we are actually losing out on, and we need to bring back that habit more than anything else. That's what.
It's true.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I'm so privileged for discussing such a great topic. Like
So I think we can wind it up.
yeah, ma'am.
So
Thank
yeah, one thing I felt after having this interactive session is just like you said, like what you say, nowadays this generation, they don't even know how to write a love letter. And I miss my days when we used to put all these nicknames for these teachers because we used to be that close to our teachers. We used to like notice them so close.
That
Nowadays, there is no
there is
such
no
bonding.
emotional bondage. There is no
Yeah,
emotional bondage between
exactly.
teachers and
So
students.
I felt so nostalgic thinking about my college days or school days. Nowadays, there is no such bonding. And
Because
as you,
as you
yeah,
said,
yes, sir.
everyone does the same thing. We think about our past nostalgic things, like, and we
Yeah.
compare with the current generation people.
Exactly. So as you said, like what you say, we have to
Even
be
we are writing messages
like
also.
Mm.
yeah. So I was thinking, like what you say,
No,
just like
when we are
Robert
writing
Frost.
messages also, it's all in short forms.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
exactly.
the reality is, even I am not good at reading emojis. Those days, descriptive letters we used to write, but everything is emojis. Everything is working in emojis.
Yeah. So just like Robert Frost has said, like we teachers have to take the road that which has been less traveled and do something different for the current generation or the coming generation. So it was just a pleasant feeling talking with you, interacting with you, and listening to your talk. And thank you so much for finding time to be part of this webinar series. And I'm sure we will be keeping in touch with you in the future also. So
Thank you.
thank you, Dr. Raj, for spending time for us. It was so good talking.
Okay, thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
once again. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Thank
thank you.
you. Good night, sir. Have a wonderful day.
Okay, same to you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you.